Hello everybody, and I guess I should probably do this now. So today we're going to be going after probably, what a lot of people consider one of the hardest fights in the game for a greatsword user. Looking back on it, I did have a little bit of a time with this, but that's because I pretty much did every single thing wrong. Lucky for you, you have me to tell you what exactly I did wrong and how to counter what I did wrong. So hopefully you don't make the same mistakes. Namely one in particular. That's really, really bad that I made a mistake in. But we'll get into that because that's a fairly important mechanic in the fight. So this is the Elder Milder. Kind of a late game thing in my opinion. I guess you could start early, but I didn't start until way at the end game. Because that's when she becomes more prominent. We'll get into that later. But for now we're doing the story. Because the story is, well, how we unlock high rank. Which is still not what I'd call the meat and potatoes. I'm looking forward to G rank, but whatever. It's still, for now, I guess it is the meat and potatoes, but we're not there yet, but we're getting there. Anyway, we're going back to, well, the Rotten Vale, because we need to go further down into the Rotten Vale. And we couldn't do it before, but now we can. And if you're wondering, yeah, this unlocks an entire new floor, so kind of worth the doing, because you have to. Anyway, we're going to be taking down the infamous Odagaron. And number one, pay attention to what I pick up in this box. This box is important. You remember the Astera Jerky? I will never use the Astera Jerky. Make sure you do. And I'd highly recommend you buy however many you can carry and carry them with you in this fight. I'll be quiet now, but keep that in mind.
Telegraphs, resollara. Resete, resme.
Translation, you go help her, because I'm too weak. So, yeah, Odagaron, the skinless doggy. He has two kind of big mechanics, technically one, but the big one is bleeding. Something you will have never seen before, and in all likelihood probably won't see again until we get new monsters down the road, because he's the only one in-game at the moment. I say this as of March 8th, I don't know if the new update is going to have more than one, but as of now, he's the only one in the game that actually has a bleeding attack, so in all likelihood, you have no idea how to counter it like I didn't. I had no idea how to get rid of bleed, because I didn't read a lot of things, sadly. But if you remember, I said Astera Jerky. That will get rid of bleed. But this is for people who are like me and go, I just want to see how bad it can get and how to triumph through absolute stupidity. You came to the right place, Pilgrim, because that's what you're going to get here. Okay, so basically, you got the Astera Jerky we went over. That cures bleed. For those who are cheap or not prepared, there is another way to heal it, and it's a hell of a lot more difficult with Odagaron, or you can kind of just stay bleeding forever. Fun fact, you can actually, I don't think it'll go away on its own, so you have to cure it, otherwise every time you roll, every time you move, you notice my health just dropping. Well, this is the big mechanic in this fight. He bleeds. Well, you bleed. Yeah. So, besides the Astera Jerky, how else can you heal it? Well, the somewhat suicidal way is you kind of just crouch down and don't move. So, good luck with that. You can do it in this fight. I'll even show you how. But you can do it. It's just not optimal in the least. His other mechanic of sorts, not really a mechanic, is pretty much just that he loves just going all over the place like an ice skater, basically. Except I think the ice skaters are probably actually faster. Actually, I don't know. But you'll notice in the beginning of this fight, I look like a complete and utter trash tier moron. That's the thing about Odagaron with the slow weapon. Maybe even the first 3 or 4 times you fight him, you might get your shit kicked in and wrecked. After that, though, he's just kind of a lovable little puppy dog that doesn't really do much. So, good news. This is probably the worst you're ever going to have him because you won't have suture gems or decorations. You'll know how to get rid of bleed, hopefully. And, well, his moves are a hell of a lot easier to, kind of get the hell out the way of once you've seen them enough times. As you can see, he loves jumping all over the place, so you can take advantage of this. Pay attention to his head. A lot of times if he goes after you, you'll notice he's looking right at you. That means he's probably going to lunge right at you. Now this was pretty much me going, oh, I'm just going to see if this will go away. It doesn't go away, ever. This was kind of like a scientific test, I would like to say. That makes me sound more intellectual, other than, no, I was just being a stubborn dickhead about the whole thing and going, well, it'll go away before I do. It doesn't, by the way, but I was basically just being as stubborn as I could, saying, well, you're going to be a dick, I'm going to be a dick too. Bleed me, I'm going to paralyze you, kind of thing. For the record, Odagaron is extremely kind of, vulnerable to paralysis, so that is something to look out for and take advantage of if you can. But don't be like me this time. Don't just eat like an entire 3 life bars of damage of bleeding just because you want to prove a point. I believe I did prove that point, by the way, just so we all know that. But I don't think it's a wise idea to prove it. You can do it. It doesn't mean you should do it. But, yeah. You might look at this and going, how in the F am I supposed to ever get a true charge off against this thing, Barok? You haven't even landed one. How the hell you expect me to do it? Oh, I'll get to that. I didn't know how to win either. I'm going to teach you how to win in this one. It's not about hitting where he is. Obviously, with the greatsword, it's always been about hitting where it's going to be. So that was a misclick, by the way. I don't know why sometimes my triangle button will just go, nope, you didn't actually push it, so screw you. But it did right there. But yeah, it's definitely more about trying to predict his movement patterns, which, as you can see, could be problematic. I hate that word, by the way. It could be problematic when it's your first time ever. But he's definitely one of those bosses that's very, very scary the first couple times you fight him, but after that, eh. As far as when to land your true charges, well, that's best shown by, showing. I don't remember when I hit some more, but I know I hit like 4 or 5 more true charges. But if you've learned anything from my videos, if you watch other people's greatsword videos, a lot of them will go, well, you always have to charge your true charge. You might as well not even swing if you're not using a true charge. I'm just like, that's not the way I go about things, man. The way I go about things is you put out the damage. Damage is damage. It's not a lot of damage if you don't charge anything, but it's better than nothing. And eventually it will die, even if you don't charge your attacks. I don't recommend not charging attacks before someone goes, so you're recommending greatsword without charging? No, that's not at all, but when you're learning fights and you don't really know the enemy's moveset yet, like that thing you saw he was looking at me, that was pretty obvious to know he's going to try and veer toward me. That should have been dodged. I screwed up due to lack of knowledge of the fight. But you can see how, once you start studying his body language, he's really not that hard to predict of where he's going to do or what he's going to, or even if you actually have foresight worth a damn, unlike me at this time, you can actually just kind of tackle and usually get true charges left, right, out the yin-yang here. Assuming, of course, you actually know what the hell you're doing. The one thing about Odagaron, though, for greatsword users that you'll love, is that if you do manage to land a true charge, I think 100% of the time he always staggers. Or at least it damn well seems like 100% of the time. Like, if you hit him with that, he almost always either falls down or flinches, one of the two. Because he's really nimble, really fast, but he's not that tough, so to say. But yeah, after the first, I think, 10 or 12 minutes, I just go from, like, complete and total numbnuts to just well, a hell of a lot better. I don't want to say I was a juggernaut, but you definitely notice after a while in this fight, I stopped making so many stupid mistakes. Which is to be expected for anybody that, you know, uses the greatsword. At first, you're going to get rocked, and then eventually you start getting better. That's why a lot of people don't recommend you do the greatsword the first time through. Because you have to know when to swing, and if you don't, it takes a long time. Which I always advocate. Go for the slowest weapon in the game as long as you enjoy it, first off, because you will learn how to fight a lot faster than using, you know, really fast weapon in any game. I don't care if it's Monster Hunter, Dark Souls, Nioh, whatever in hell. Always go slow weapon, in my opinion, first. That way, when you do try the faster weapon, you're gonna be going like, holy shit, this is so fast, man. This is a lot easier. As opposed to going from something really fast, where you go, I can swing all the time, and then you go to like a greatsword and go, oh my god, I can't hit the bastard. That was just completely out of nowhere ranting. But that, I'd never understood people who say, yo, go fast weapon first, brah. I don't understand it. You want it? I guess, whatever. I guess their thought is, well, if they don't get through the first game because they get so pissy, they quit, then I guess it won't make a difference anyway. So they want, I don't know. But yeah. Oh, no, not as many stupid mistakes. I'm starting to read the body language. I'm not getting hit by all the nom-noms there. Or whatever the hell you want to call it. I'm not getting hit by all the bites there. Now, if you notice when he's doing that little jumpy thing, dodge right. A lot of times, his tail or his foot or whatever is striking, I couldn't really see there, that will strike to your left. Now, this was just plain stupid, because I didn't think when he falls down, he'd fall down like 20 feet in that direction, but how stupid on me to not think that, right? I mean, no, that makes common sense, yeah. I mean, why wouldn't you just slide 20 feet to the left when you fall down? That's like the little nitpicky things I always get pissy about in games like this. Like, oh, come on, man. I didn't even... But yeah, Odagaron, a fight that a lot of people have trouble with. Personally, I don't see why. I know at least one other person that's like me and go, well, I mean, yeah, I guess the first time he kind of sucks, but... You know, after that... Look, if I've went into people's assigned SOSs, and they've died to Odagaron because of the bleed. Okay, I understand that. I'm not going to make fun of anybody for that, because, you see, I've been bled for a long time in this. I don't have any room to speak on that. But you'll also notice when I do get bled, I usually don't say, just stay up there and just needlessly take needless damage. But you saw there, even with a completely uncharged true attack, I hit him with it, he fell down. He always falls down or gets flinched. So if you can get good with the greatsword here, you can speedrun this bastard. And I think my fastest is like 3 minutes. Seriously, he dies fast. Fast. That's including the like 20-30 second find time of finding the jerk. Which, granted, wasn't that far away, because we're like, camp is like right there, and his thing's like right there, but... By the way, you saw the wind-up for the roar. Definitely want to be tackling that crap. I didn't. Now, at this point in the stage, again, you can just kind of, you know... By the way, you saw what I did there? You saw that, like, the miasma, like, dispersing there when I did that? Yeah. I didn't catch that either. Looking back on it now, that's pretty obvious, but I'm not taking damage now. But yeah, at this point, you can just kind of trap him. Now, I've never seen this because apparently I don't let them have free will. But if you wake him up here... Oh my god, I didn't edit this out. Well, it was only like 20 seconds. My editing software screwed me pretty hard earlier, so this is done hastily. Anyway, yeah, I've never let this happen, but apparently... people just kind of let him do what he wants when he wakes up. I don't know how. I've fought him, had to be over 50 times now. I've never seen this, but people tell me that if you let him eat after you wake him up, he goes like... I don't want to say Super Saiyan, but he really goes next level on you. Personally, I've never seen it because I try not to let things eat. That's just kind of a basic tenet of Monster Hunter, but apparently people are like, I want to see him at his worst. Well, I didn't know about it, so you don't get to see it, so... Honestly, I'd kind of like to see it, just to see how much worse the fight can get, honestly. Now, that was kind of lucky I didn't get hit. I'm not going to say that was skill, that true charge, because it kind of wasn't. But yeah, I thought maybe I can get it Nope. Should have aimed a little further to the left. But you can see the mind games kind of playing here. I mean, not very well there, but the mind game beforehand was pretty cool, you gotta admit. And also, this is probably the hardest part of the whole fight, because at this point in his, well, I mean, most things in their den are more difficult to deal with. But this guy just starts, he's kind of like, oh, what was that thing's name? Toby Kadachi a little bit? Not really, but then the jumping off the walls and just kind of like saying, get wrecked. I know, it's pretty relatable, honestly. He just... Except, you know, you're bleeding, not stunned, which is arguably easier to deal with. You know, assuming you actually read item descriptions and use what they gave you, as opposed to being a stubborn ass like me. But yeah, you can, even with this thing going all over the place, you can still just kind of sit there if you know what you're doing. It's just, you know, you have to be prepared to be a little more defensive at times, because otherwise you're, well... I mean, this guy can really punish you if you get greedy. More so than most other things. Of course, the bright side is, he staggers pretty well, so if he gets greedy and you can punish him, it's a two-way street. But, good luck with that one, because it can be rather difficult to get the positioning right. I thought, oh, he'll come right at me. Instead he slinks off to the right. And he's like, dude, don't kill me. I'm like, nar. And then just do a little crappy uncharged thing. But yeah, for those who are curious, it took me about 9 minutes to even find where the thing was. And now I know that's going to sound like an excuse. Well, that's just an excuse for your slow time. Yeah, but it truthfully did take 9 minutes I cut out. So... I think it said 23 minutes, so probably closer to 14. Still really bad time-wise. That's not a very good time, 14 minutes. But, that's more accurate. But I think it says something like 23. I don't know why I'm trying to justify a low-ranked time here, but I guess I'm just for clarification's sake in my, little ego.
Ritome ar. Gazar bemuto teta. Iraos lis. Muto teis. Ayuru fukze hos.
Ratude. Mi ritome deda. Dotue kerades. Raksude. Mitagane meso. Nitsimaha. Shi. Ku. Hikenoro. Beshirasuni. Ichijihaga betegunani.
Hey!
Kit. Lira ni kiji?
そうだ。
ラファがとと。ゆりにたが、えいがりつ。ねむはえてやぱす。シシュラーニ。
Meskere.
もうめじょすうでだ。ゾラマグダラオス。レスホアヨポモールト。 指数にイクロスゾラマグダラオスレスホデトーレ
Hati apa i nira kiri. Ke hori ui.
ねえくがオグドルクールークラシキミレアサクララビラいやあとりろいギレリリ開けてだってるトニーいいだあなれら無敵にれあウルースリギレルもきぬフルモーシクアチベファクイーヌ
Right. So now that that quote mystery is solved, we're done. So 23 minutes, but I did cut out quite literally 9 minutes of content, so probably again closer to 14 minutes. Still really bad time, but not as bad as 23 minutes. So, yeah. I think Odagaron's one of the easier fights now, but looking back on it, I can certainly see why new players would certainly have trouble with it. If they weren't as cautious as I was. By the way, here's, I did get the Odagaron Greaves because it has Quick Sheath. In my opinion, one of the two skills that are necessary for a greatsword build. The other is earplugs. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully I'll see you next time. Until then, everybody.